I want to talk about what surprised me about learning to ride a motorcycle in my 50s. If you're thinking about learning to ride a motorcycle later in life, you're probably wondering a lot of the same things I wondered about. Am I too old? Can I even learn how to do this? If you're new here, welcome to Sparkle Boots Moto. I'm the one with the sparkle boots. I learned to ride a motorcycle at the age of 54 with no previous motorcycle experience. There's a whole video on that if you want to watch that. Now that I've been riding a while, I want to talk about what surprised me about learning to ride a motorcycle in my 50s. First up is I didn't realize how many of us there are. Older riders, older beginner women riders. I have heard from so many people in the comments of my videos who are older riders like myself just starting out. So don't think if you decide to do this that you're going to be the only one. There's a whole community of older beginner riders out there and they're very supportive. So I was pleasantly surprised by that. Next up, I wasn't sure if I could learn to ride a motorcycle. If you watch my video about learning to ride, I came into it wondering if this would even be possible. What surprised me was that it wasn't that hard to learn the basics of riding a motorcycle, to be able to master the mechanics of it, how to make it go and keep it going. That turned out to be a lot easier than I expected. So that was a surprise for me that it isn't actually that hard to learn. But the next surprise is that learning is a process. I felt like once you learned how to ride the motorcycle, you had it, that was it. I didn't realize how long the process would be of learning to feel comfortable and confident in doing that. And it takes a long time to feel comfortable with traffic and curves and all of the things that come with riding a motorcycle. So I was surprised that it seemed easy to pick up the basics, but I was also surprised at how long it takes to feel more comfortable and confident on a motorcycle. This next one is maybe less of a surprise. I make mistakes. I have made a lot of mistakes. I mean, in the beginning, there's stalling. I had the thing where I would hit the horn every time I wanted to use the turn signal. And I've dropped my bike more than once. So I'm not surprised that I make mistakes. What I'm surprised by is that I'm okay with that. And it may be a byproduct of my age that I'm just old enough to not care. There's no peer pressure. I don't feel the need to prove that I'm a natural at this or really good at it. I'm okay with making mistakes, that I'm old enough to have the patience to learn at my own pace. So I think it surprised me that while I make mistakes, I'm not overly frustrated by that, that I kind of get that that's part of the learning process and that's okay with me. My next surprise, and this one is actually more of an observation than a surprise, is that I'm far more careful of a rider than I would have been had I learned as a younger person. When you're younger and you're reckless and bulletproof and you don't worry about much, I recognize that my body has limitations it did not have when I was younger, that anything that hurts is going to hurt a lot longer. Recovery takes a lot longer. Even a pulled muscle is a whole ordeal when you get older. Things just take a lot longer. And so while that's no surprise, I guess, that I'm cautious, I think it surprises me how much I'm okay with that I recognize my body has limitations and I'm fine with that. And again, probably a byproduct of being an older person. I had my opportunity to be young and reckless. So now as an older person, I'm much more cautious and I'm okay with being cautious. And my last surprise, and I hear this from a lot of people, it's kind of a big one, is I'm surprised at how much I wish I hadn't waited so long to do this. And I hear it from a lot of people who are older riders that why didn't I start this sooner? For me, I'm surprised at how much I enjoy it more than I even expected to, how much it makes going places enjoyable. I want to see new places from this different perspective that riding a motorcycle gives you. So I'm surprised at how much I wish I'd started sooner. But also, and I said this in one of my other videos, that if you think you're too old for something, it just means you need to do it now because you're never going to be younger than you are right now. And I'm happy I didn't wait any longer to learn. So while maybe I wish I'd started sooner, I'm glad I started when I did and did not let any more time go by so I have more years where I can enjoy doing this. That's what surprised me about learning to ride in my 50s. If you have your own stories about learning to ride, be sure and drop those in the comments. I do read all of those and I do enjoy reading them. If you liked the video, be sure and hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching.